Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike, sending a strong Shalom to the children of light. Namaste to all. You already know what the deal is. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, our power, to El Elyon, the Great Spirits, the All Parents, down into our Father Universe, 𝐻𝐸 𝐷𝐷𝐸 𝐁𝐨𝐸𝐿 Wakanda Hawa Yahadonai. Acknowledgement to our earthly mother and acknowledgement to our elder brother Yahushua HaMashiach 𝐻𝐸 Matzah the Lamb, Yesiah the Messiah, Yahusha the Lion from the tribe of Yehuda, the one the world calls Jesus Christ. So today we're going to be talking about the chakras and the lokas, all right, the realms. And what's crazy is that we ain't even talk about the chakras yet. We ain't even make a lesson on the chakras. So I was in here like, wow, we ain't even make a chakra video? That's crazy. So I'm like, you know what? We got to do a chakra video. Spirit was like, you know what? You got to get this chakra video. So I was like, okay, here we go. All right. So we're going to be going into the Superscript. We're going to hit the Egyptian book of the dead, the book coming forth by day, right? We're gonna get a piece out of the Pistis Sophia, so we're gonna be going places today, right? So this might be a long one, all right? So definitely sit back and relax, because we about to get into it. So let's go to the seventh light picture Superscript. Thou shalt be the witness. We're going to hit verse 97. When we awake from the illusion, we discover we are multi-dimensional spirit beings having a temporary residence here to help humanity and all life forms in our local life space. We do this by realigning with our true self, which is our higher self, our overself. The overself is a pre-existent higher body of light which exists for spiritual, physical beings prior to their incarnation. When we align, we bring forth the thought forms from the divine realms, which in turn bring forth a transformation of thought to wherever we are. In all of this, we learn to listen as well as nurture our overself, our higher and wiser self, as we initiate our own evolutionary growth in conjunction with the order of Melchizedek. Those in the East saw how this takes place first by aligning and activating the chakras of the body. I was shown it was not just the 7 chakras, but the 14 chakras and ultimately the 21 chakras, which are to link with the triple powers for the total unity with our Christed overself. Right, so there's 7 chakras on the body. Then there's another set of chakras for the overself. Then there's another set of chakras all the way up to the Christed overself. Notably, the 7 higher loka, which mean realms or worlds, have traditionally been equated to the 7 chakras of the body. Likewise, we can see the chakras as 7 candles, which literally live within each body, and can be seen as a biospherical control gauges, touching not only upon major organs of the body, but opening as thresholds to greater dimensions and frequency realities. In the Sanskrit tradition, they are wheel-like doors, which are thresholds of coexistence for both the divine and human self to become activated. So the chakras are more than a simple bioanatomy of how certain points of the body maintain energy. Each chakra acts as a type of spiral or a wheel, which can become open to allow for a greater resonance within the various loka realms or worlds. of existence. Each chakra also has its own sacred geometries, allowing it to align not only with the body, but to the geometries of the higher bodies, including our Christed body and the greater universe. Okay, so let's take a look at the picture on the left here, and you see these sacred geometries within each of the chakras. Okay, you see, right, starting from the bottom down from the root all the way to the top, and you see the geometry at the top. You see how crazy it's getting? That's what I'm talking about right there. Whether we look at the 7 seals of the body or the 7 chakras of the body, according to Hindu Sanskrit traditions, they all represent how the human being is the axis mundi, the balance of the world in relationship to all of its parts. And these parts include many realms or worlds. All right, so now we're gonna start with the first chakra. The first chakra, the Muladhara, which is the base of the spine, is equated with the Berloka of the earth, where the body is grounded to the earth. Yes, we exist in a earthly realm, and this chakra provides us with stability in this reality. It is our survival mechanism. As the root chakra, it is the center for the basic holding forces within us. And as it is raised up, there is a shift from the body of the flesh into the metamorphosis stage of a new being of light essence. Each of the chakras traditionally has a sound, and the mantra for this chakra is Lam. The second chakra, Svadhisthana, which is below the navel, is considered an energy associated with Bhurvaloka. While still connected to the energies of the earth and the sun, it has a way of creating and establishing our place in the reality of life. This sacral region can become our focus if we lean towards unconscious attractions, such as instincts and emotional desires. The second chakra is also the door of incarnation. To shift its focus requires education, discipline, and devotion to a higher purpose. When it is raised up, a shift takes place, which allows the agape to replace the eros. Ultimately, we can elevate the first and second chakras to move beyond the limited emotional body and to develop a greater awareness of self. The mantra is Vam. The third chakra, Manipura, which is the solar plexus, is connected with the sun and all its planets, as detailed by Savarloka, as the solar plexus harmonizes with the fire of the sun. More personally, the solar plexus is connected with most souls through the energies of life and is the center for reflective powers, as well as the nexus of personal power. Personal power can be used with positive or negative intentions. Through it, we can maintain a sense of self-connectedness to our physical form or liberation. That is, this energy can be connected with ego or preferably with collective transformation. When we seek to find a deeper purpose for life and fulfill our divine mission for being here now. The mantra is Ram. So you got to get out the mindset of, oh, I got to get this bag, I got to get the Tesla, right? And thinking that this reality is all there is and that's it. It's like, nah. The fourth chakra, Anahata, which is the heart, is where the divine energy truly begins to open within the body, establishing a higher body of loving harmony as consciousness learns to expand to the Maharloka, which starts with the opening of the universe beyond the local stars. One must have an open, loving heart to begin the process of matter connecting to spirit. Hence, it commences with a sharing of compassion and love. The heart connected with love, compassion, and harmony begins to direct our purpose of life as we seek to touch all hearts of humanity as love becomes expanded. to all life. And as the heart chakra is activated, so the greater power of divine love, agape, is experienced. The mantra is Yam. So at this point, most people don't even make it to the heart chakra. And the reason being is because they go into the McDonald's and they getting the Big Mac. Okay, they eating the flesh, they eating the meat. And so what's going on is you eating your brothers and sisters in the animal kingdom. And so you are not able to get to that heart chakra. You're not operating in that love, right? You ain't got no love for the brothers and sisters in the animal kingdom. Okay, you going to the Outback Steakhouse. You going into the Chick-fil-A drive-through line. So the vast majority of people are in those lower 3 chakras. The 5th chakra, Vishuddha, the throat, moves us to the point that our love becomes an inspiration. It corresponds to Jana Loka, where the beings who live in this conscious reality have control over the elements of nature. As you clear your throat, you realize why the name Vishuddha means pure or purification. Your body truly becomes activated when you speak pure truth. It is the vocal reality that bears witness to a greater love. You begin to speak truth with love and compassion, and realize why Vishuddha is thus connected with the throat or voice as an energy center for vibratory coherence. Right, so when you speak in truth, you know truth, right? Because before you say anything, right, it's in your head, it's in your thoughts, right? Them thought forms. Here, the mental vibrational resonant circuits provide the power of sound for purification and ultimately to vibrate the sacred expressions through sound to heal the body and mind. As you activate and align this chakra, you remove yourself from being overpowered by the thought forms of negativity of the local realms. As 𝐯𝐲𝐻𝐸, Jesus himself demonstrated in his own anointed teachings, we too can begin to share a greater power of love, agape, and forgiveness. As we begin to demonstrate our new voice with the true forgiveness, we move into letting go and forgetting the thought forms of injury, and begin the conscious release of the whole karmic pattern of memory that has restricted our consciousness, keeping it bound to the old programs and bottom below consciousness. All this prevents a complete renewal, healing, and cleansing of the human vehicle and the administrating of love to take place. Yes, through this higher chakra activation, we become part of the light of truth with the sacred language of light that aligns us with the divine light to become the witness of truth. The mantra is Hum. The 6th chakra, Ajna, which is the 3rd eye, opens us to divine insight, connected also with the powers of the Tapo Loka, associated with the knowledge realms. Its connection to the power of the witness is clear. As our 3rd eye begins to open, we bear witness to greater realms of wisdom and knowledge. Here, insight is provided and ultimately opens us to a greater revelation that is more than knowing. It is experiencing. The seed mantra is Om, but one can add the supernal sound of Pranava Om for the power of intuition. This opens up the chakra center to a deeper thinking process, consciousness awareness, and ultimately higher divine wisdom, Sophia/Chokmah. Activating the place of divine insight begins to provide a greater understanding of true wisdom. The 7th chakra, Sahasrara, which is the Kether, the crown, brings us into godliness and a complete witness or experience of the Satya Loka. Although we are still in material nature, the reality of Satya Loka tells us we are not fixed within any material nature. We are a part of a greater super nature. Of course, material nature is present, but in truth, we begin to see the reality that contains other realities. As our material existence becomes aware of an expanded existence, awakening us to the knowing of the all. It is seen as the lotus or 𝐭𝐡𝐢, the crown, that begins to appear over our heads, as it is the place of opening and connecting with higher worlds. Here, the seed mantra is Om, or some say Om. As the crown chakra is activated, we are guided by a power of consciousness from on high. Now we can reach not only throughout this world and this universe, but ultimately we gain glimpses of the realms of Brahma Loka. We also begin to understand that the divine is without and within. In fact, there is no separation. As all the chakras are now activated, we realize our body vehicle is just that, a vehicle for soul evolution. So let's go to the Egyptian Book of the Dead. All right. The Book of Coming Forth by Day. And this is on page 126. Let's go halfway in. There are 7 spiritual centers which operate in the subtle body of a human being. They are represented by 7 spheres or chain links. Each represents a psycho-spiritual principle which must be mastered in order to evolve spiritually. Those who have not yet evolved beyond the 3rd center are symbolically devoured by the Ammit monster. Okay, let's take a look at the Ammit monster. Okay, you see here, right, this Ammit monster, he's like a crocodile, a lion, and a hippopotamus all in one. Okay, let's continue. That is to say, they experience hellish conditions as a punishment for wrongdoings in life. The first center represents fear and the basic necessities of life, eating and elimination, right? That's the root. The second center represents creativity and sexuality. The third center represents ego control over others, negative willpower, and personal energy. The fourth center represents selfless love, right? That's that heart chakra, right? That's when you in the green. The fifth center represents self-control and positive willpower. The sixth center represents the eye of Heru, intuitional vision of the spirit world as well as the phenomenal world. The seventh center represents transcendental vision and becoming one with God. Spiritual evolution implies growing beyond the first 3 lower centers. The masses of people are entangled with the world due to their egoism, desires, and worldly concerns. This is what the lower 3 centers represents. The upper 4 centers represents the process of spiritual evolution and self-discovery. So as you can see, the lower 3 chakras is where most people are at. Right? So they getting devoured by that Ammit monster. The energy centers of the subtle body are likened to a tree, which the aspirant climbs through personality integration, which leads him/her to intuitional realization of the transcendental self. In the process of creation, the creative energy manifests in the form of 6 planes of consciousness. This is the realm of phenomenal reality, including physical, astral, and mental existence. Most people function on the level of the first 3 energy consciousness levels. The goal of this yoga, the serpent power, is to unite the 6 phenomenal consciousness centers with the 7th or transcendental realm of consciousness, the absolute. This absolute is what various religions refer to by different names, such as the kingdom of heaven, which is within you. us all, Krishna, Brahman, the Tao, God, higher self, goddess, Christ, Buddha, etc. The previous picture from the papyrus of Kemet shows Amit, the monster who devours the unrighteous. Notice that he is biting the scales of Mayat between the third and fourth circles. Pause, let's go get that picture. All right, so you see how the Amit monster, right, is biting the lower three, right? He got the lower three separated from the upper chakras. All right. These circles indicate levels of spiritual evolution or psycho-spiritual energy centers. The Greenfield Papyrus shows the centers as a chain with 7 links. These centers refer to the judgment of the heart of the initiate. Centers 1 to 3 indicate immature beings who live to seek sensual pleasures and centers. That's the first 3 chakras. All right. 4 to 7 indicate individuals who are progressing on the spiritual path. The ancient Egyptian symbol of the serpents and/or vulture at the level of the brow indicates the energy consciousness at the level of the 6th energy center, and the serpent on the top of the head refers to the energy center at the crown of the head, meaning that the energy consciousness has reached the transcendental self. All right, now let's go to the Bhagavad Gita. We're about to go into the Yogananda version though. All right, so if you got you a Bhagavad Gita, you could follow along because we're going to go to verses 20 and we're going to read down to verse 23. All right, so starting from verse 20. Beholding the dynasty of Dharasahasra ready to begin battle, Pandava, which is Arjuna, he whose flag bears the monkey emblem, lifted his bow and addressed Krishna. Arjuna said, "O changeless Krishna, please place my chariot between the 2 armies, that I may regard those who stand ready in battle array. On the eve of this war, let me comprehend with whom I must fight. Here in this field of Kurukshetra, I wish to observe all those who have gathered with desire to fight on the side of Dhritarashtra's wicked son." All right, so let's read the commentary on page 130, where it says the placement. The placement of the chariot of intuitive perception between the opposing forces refers in general to the spinal centers, but also specifically to the coccyx, dorsal, and medullary Christ centers. These are 3 important places: intuitional caravanserai, vantage points into which the devotee's consciousness becomes ensconced while moving Godward through the centers to the brain. There is a special polarity between these centers that helps the attuned consciousness to be lifted upward. First, there is the magnetism between the negative pole of the coccyx center and the higher or positive dorsal center. Then by deep meditation, when the consciousness is raised to the dorsal center, that center becomes a negative pole, and the medullary Christ center becomes the positive pole, pulling the consciousness upward to the centers of highest realization in the brain. From the intuitive perceptions received during his sojourn in these 3 centers, the devotee gains full understanding of the principles of his lower material nature by experiencing them at their source in their subtle form. Now let's head to the holy science. All right, let's go on page 91 and we're going to read Sutra 9. Then he perceives the manifestations of spirit and passes through the 7 patala lokas, or the centers in the spine, beholding the 7 rishis. In the state of baptism, man repents and withdraws his self from the external world of gross matters, Bhuloka, and enters in the internal one of fine matter, the Bhuvarloka. There he perceives the manifestation of spirit, the true light, like 7 stars in 7 centers, or astrally shining places, which are compared to 7 golden candlesticks These stars, being the manifestation of true light, the spirit are called angels or rishis, which appear one after another in the right hand of the Son of Man. That is, in his right way to divinity. The 7 golden candlesticks are the 7 shining places in the body, known as the Sahasrara, the Ajna, alright, the 5 spinal centers, the Vishuddha, the Anahata, the Manipura, the Swahasthana, the Muladhara, right? All the ones we talked about earlier, where the spirit becomes manifested. Through these 7 centers or churches, the ego or Son of Man passes toward the divinity. In this state of baptism, the ego, the Son of Man, gradually passing through the 7 places mentioned, acquires the knowledge thereof, and when he thus completes the journey through the whole of these regions, he understands the true nature of the universe. Withdrawing himself from the Bhuvaraloka, the 5 material creation, he enters into the Swarloka, the source of all matters, fine and gross. There he perceives the luminous astral form around his heart atom, the throne of spirit, the creator, provided with 5 electricities and with 2 poles, mind and intelligence, of 7 different colors, as in rainbows. In this sphere of electricities, mind and intelligence, the source of all objects of senses and of organs for the enjoyment, man becomes perfectly satisfied with being in possession of all objects of his desires, and acquires a complete knowledge thereof. Hence the aforesaid astral form with its electricities and poles. The 7 parts thereof has been described as a seal casket of knowledge, a book with 7 seals. So the 7 seals really is the 7 chakras. So the seals that we read about in the book of Revelation really is the 7 chakras. All right, so let's just expound on it even more. Okay, let's build on it some more. Let's go to the Pistis Sophia, and we're gonna get the definition for Amen. All right, and we're gonna read halfway through, or we're gonna get the 5th definition of Amen. All right, the 7 Amens represent the transcendental structure of purification that is used by the Godhead in all worlds. The 7 Amens do not work alone, but within a sophisticated blueprint of divine teaching connected with the 7 voices, the 3 Amens and the 5 trees. It is the 7 levels of vibration activated by divine initiation through which the 7 seals or categories of knowledge are opened for the experience of the risen Lord. Let's go to page 41 in the Pistis. All right. The 7 Amens are part of the vibratory link to knowledge from the book of life and are used for the coding of life into a more complete form of creation. They activate the 7 seals, the chakras, for the higher creative progression as the tree of life extends from the 4th Sephira of 𝐭𝐡𝐻 through to Malkuth, the 10th. Thus is formed the body, mind, spirit vibratory link through which vibrations are extended from the 7 seals of the Adam Cadman, symbolic of the archetypal human temple, to the temple of God. That is the 7 voices, what their region is and how they expand. Pause. Let's go get the definition for the 7 voices. The definition for 7 voices: the 7 basic vibration levels that establish the structure for each field/realm of creation. In addition, these vibrations are also used for our ascension. They coordinate with the divine teachings of oral or spoken scripture, the word, which can be provided directly from the divine, through which the initiate is able to witness these vibrations on all basic and higher levels of dialogue. Back to page 41. The sound link and the word link, through the use of the vibration of God's names, unite to unfold creation according to a divine blueprint. Here we have a profound teaching of salvation, not only for the earthly body with its 7 seals or mansion worlds, but one which extends to the overself with its 7 additional seals or chakras, right? So that's what we just talked about earlier at the beginning of the lesson, how the overself has its own chakras, and then the Christ, the overself, has its own chakras as well, right? The overself is as a twin to the lower 7 seals that must be aligned with it. So there is levels to this thing, all right? Because some people think, oh, 7 is it, and then that's it. Nah, there's much more. There's much more. But that's gonna be it for this video, for this lesson. Hopefully you ate good. Hopefully you were edified. You got you a snack out of the pantry closet. You ate good. You had you some dinner. It was bussin'. And that's gonna be it. I say shalom and stay strong.